everybody, it's Talia from The Climbing Tree. I wanted to do this video to introduce you properly to my new baby. Want to say hello? Say hi? Newborns are so wonderful. Yeah. Her name is Haya Safira, and she was born on the 24th of October 2019. I think that is like the 26th. I think it was the 26th of Tishrei. So I really had hoped that she would be born in Tishrei, because Tishrei is like a month of joy and all of these things, and I just thought that would be really beautiful to, you know, have this baby born in this beautiful month of joy, and like a really nice way to finish off the holiday season that we'd had. So she was born, Simchat Torah was on Tuesday, and then she was born on Thursday night. So yeah, I didn't have as much time to relax after the holidays as I had hoped that I would, but that's okay. I'm definitely not complaining about her being a little bit early. So she was born 39 weeks and 2 days, and we had a really, really beautiful birth. We had a home birth, which is what we planned, and yeah, it went really well. I was really well supported, and yes, she was like excited to be here. We're really, really grateful to have had such a great birth experience, and then have had a really, really wonderful postpartum experience so far as well. I'm more than happy to do like a full birth story video, because I love birth stories. And you know, we used a lot of I don't know if you can see in the video, but here I have a lot of affirmations up on my wall. I had done a lot of work on the Sefirot in the last bit of my pregnancy, and that's why her middle name is Safira. And yeah, I remember when Ahava was a baby, and I specifically remember I was packing up a lot of her baby clothes to get rid of them and pass them on. It wasn't that we were it wasn't that I was so sure that we wouldn't have any more kids. It was more this idea of we don't want to store these things, and we didn't have any plans to have kids, like more kids so quickly after Ahava had been born. So this is a bigger age gap for us. Ahava is 3.5. It's November now. She'll turn 4 in January. So this is like quite a nice bigger gap for us. And anyway, so when Ahava was a baby and I was packing up all of her baby clothes, I kept this box of just a few little things, because it was a strange feeling, but I just couldn't shake this feeling that I would have another daughter and that her name would be Haya. And I think that this is totally crazy, and in general I don't believe people when they say this, of having this sense of a baby there waiting for you to be ready to accept them, sort of thing. And yeah, that to me is totally crazy, but that is how I felt. Went through this was like my first thought of her and her name, and it just sort of came to me really randomly. Anyway, when I found out that I was pregnant with her, that was kind of like, okay, you know, good. And then I went and had the ultrasound because I'd had this miscarriage earlier. I definitely wanted to have the early ultrasound to just check that the pregnancy was viable, even though I had a strong feeling that it definitely was. And also wanted to check the dating, because my periods were very erratic before that. And so I went in to have the ultrasound, lay down on the table, and the ultrasound lady knew why I had come in, and so she went to find the heartbeat straight away, and she found it there, and immediately I was just like, oh my gosh, Haya, that is you. I was just so, I just was overwhelmed that this was her, that I knew who this baby was. I knew that she was going to survive. I knew that her name was totally fitting for her, that she had life in her, and that this was, she was destined to be part of our family. And so I had this huge sense of this is exactly who she is. Of course, at this stage I was 5 or 6 weeks pregnant. He was only just could see a heartbeat on the scan. And so we definitely could not remotely tell if it was a boy or a girl, but I knew that this was a girl. I knew that this was Haya. And so I just carried on. And then when I was past the first trimester and we told the kids about the baby, and before I'd had the 20-week scan to find out if it was a boy or a girl, I'd had a bunch of bleeding, and I was cramping and things like this, and I was upset. And it wasn't that I don't know, I was upset as you expect that you would be in that kind of situation. But I was laying there on my bed because I'd given myself bed rest sort of thing, and just laying there, and then I was praying, and I just felt so strongly again that her name is Haya. Don't forget that, she has life. And so I was praying then, and just prayed, Hashem, this is the name that you have given her. This is the name that you've given to her in utero. And so I just pray that, she is full of life. You have destined for her to be here, to be part of our family. I know that without a doubt. Nothing can happen to her now. And I felt so much better, and that all resolved. I don't know why that had happened, but it doesn't matter. And then I done the 20-week scan and found out, yes, she's definitely a girl. And the ultrasound lady was very sure, checked multiple times for me, and I was okay. And also after that scan, the day before I was going in for the scan, I thought about, this could be a boy. Ahava was sure that it was a girl, and I really do trust those little kids' instincts on a baby, but I also just felt Ahava really, really wanted a sister, and so I felt less sure of her certainty of it being a girl. But the day before the scan, I thought about it, and I was I like to just imagine a scenario in my head, and I imagined her doing the ultrasound saying, it's a boy, and I just had in my head, I just felt oh no, that she's not going to say that, that's not right. If she said that, I wouldn't believe her. I would think that there was a mistake. And that sort of confirmed for me again that I knew who this baby was, and I knew that she was a girl. And I knew who she was. I knew her name was Haya. And so when we done the scan, found out she was a girl, I had not told Luke any of this. I didn't tell him about the name because I was I mentioned it to him by this stage that this was a name that I liked, that he was not so keen on, which I get because CH, Chala or Hanukkah, it's that guttural H sound, and particularly here in Australia, people just aren't going to say it right. They're going to call her Chaya or Kaya. These are the names that she gets. And I knew this, and this totally put me off the name as well. I was just oh, I don't like that. And so I was sort of for quite a while then. I just went totally off the name. I was just no, maybe we can give her a different name, and Haya can be her Hebrew name or something like this. But the longer like we went through, and Luke and I had like big trouble choosing a name. Of course, we sort of more or less decided on a boy name, even though we knew we were having a girl, but we still had a boy name. It's a beautiful name, and I'm sad to not have used it. Yeah, we just struggled a lot, and I just came back to this point where I was just like, I have to be true to what I think, which is that her name is Haya. And I didn't tell Luke the whole story, but I just said, like, look, you know that I have reservations about this name, but I just really think that this is what her name is. And so at that point I was like this was like 34 or 35 weeks now. And by this stage I'd sort of said to him, like, I really think that this is her name. I'm happy for this to just be her Hebrew name if you really don't like the name. He liked it the best of the names that we were both mutually accepting of. And so we, sort of more or less decided at this point, it must have been like 35 weeks, it was on our wedding anniversary, that okay, if we couldn't think of a better name between now and her being born, that we would definitely name her Chaya. So that's how she got her name. I sort of say that she chose her own name in lots of ways, and I don't know if that's like totally true, but I just feel like this was not a name that I chose exactly as much as a name that was given to us for her. And her middle name, Safira, actually was at school assembly. We don't go to a Jewish school or anything like this. It's just a totally normal public school. And a little kid got student of the week in their class, like not in any of my kids' class or anything like this. And they called her out, and her name was Safira. And I was like, Safira, wow, that is a beautiful name. And I just was like, oh wow, I've been doing a lot of study on the Sephirah for the pregnancy, and I find it relates, amazingly, to be honest, to pregnancy, and it's a really, really amazing tool for birth, is focusing on the Sephirah. And anyway, I was just like, oh, Safira, like a single Sephirah of the Sephirah. Like, that's familiar to me in a Jewish sense. How random that this is what this kid's name is. And then I remembered that I actually follow a really amazing, beautiful artist on Instagram, and her name is Safira. And so then I messaged her and I said, like, I've looked up the name Safira, and I cannot find it anywhere, not as a Jewish name, not really even like as a secular name, but you have this name. Is this your Hebrew name? And do you like having this name? So I had a good little chat to her about it, and she was saying yes, it's like very unusual, but she loves her name. And I guess I more or less decided anyway that I did love the name, and that to me it just like seemed perfectly right. And so we just tossed up if she would be Chaya Safira or if she would be Safira Chaya. And I'm tempted now to even use Safira as like a name when I don't want to have to spell out Chaya all the time. Her nickname is Cece because our surname is Karbas, and Chaya starts with C and Karbas starts with C. So her nickname is Cece. That's what I like to call her, and definitely when I'm writing it down, I just write Cece because it's easier and it's cute. And yeah, so that is the story of her name. We are going through some like interesting health related things with her at the moment, and once I've sort of have any idea really what's happening or where we're going with it, then I will probably just do an update on that in the hopes that it could be helpful for other people, but I'm not going to do major updates on her. Welcome to the world, Chaya Safira, and yeah, thanks for watching.